Another day, another preview. So we're going to take a look at the Crosshair 8 Hero Wi-Fi. Now, if we spin the box around, so you get an idea of what's going on the back. One of the things I will say is it is quite similar to the Formula. Now, rumoured pricing is exactly that, rumoured, but it is more than likely going to be significantly cheaper because it doesn't have the EK block on it. This one has 5G Ethernet as well, whereas this one only has 2.5G Ethernet. But it does have the Wi-Fi, and that Wi-Fi 6 is quite important as well because it's the first lot of boards that properly support Wi-Fi 6, which means if you have a compatible router like one of these two, then you can have some rather insane Wi-Fi speeds. Other than that, at the moment, it's pretty much only the Samsung Galaxy S10s that have properly got implemented Wi-Fi 6 on them. So I'm actually looking forward to testing those routers now. But anyway, going to give you a slow look at the box. Now you need to remember all of this, or a lot of the stuff, is under NDA. So I can't show you the CPUs at all, can't show you the boards powered up at all, well, not properly. I've got a magic tool which means I can turn the lighting on for you in a minute, but my battery's just about to run out as well. Oh, brilliant. Honest to God, I'm losing my mind already, and we're not even 2 days into trying to do all of these yet. But that is the outside. Now let's have a look inside. Yes, I know you want to see the board, but we do need to cover the other stuff as well, because there are a lot of people that want to know what's in the box, because let's face it, these boards aren't going to be cheap. And by these boards, I mean X570 as a whole, not just Asus ones. So you get a coaster. You also get a cable mod 20% off. Now I share these codes every time. They can only be used once. Something that came up on a video yesterday though, someone said if you use it for one cable, the 20% off is only good for one cable. But if you buy a set, it's classed as one item. So you can have a whole set with 20% off. And it's the whole set that this is kind of intended for. Just a little bit of a tip for you. Anyway, there is the code. If you do use it, I'd love you to tweet me, post on Instagram or anything like that. So every time I see one of these in a box, I give it away to you guys basically. Because, you know, might get 20% off. It's all good. Driver CD and a little badge. Oh yeah. Thank you for purchasing your ROG product. You get stickers, including some for the your cables, and there's quite a few actually. Oh, ROG battery stickers, that's new. Wonder how long it'll be before Gigabyte catch on to that and start doing their own Aorus ones. Those ones are for the middle of fans. So you've got a load of those, and then you get your manual. We open the box, there's not a lot in there. Literally not a lot in there. So you've got your Wi-Fi dongle. There's 4 SATA cables there, 2 straight, 2 90 degrees. They're normal SATA cables. Then you get an addressable RGB extension. You can tell it's addressable because of the 3-pin. And then you get a normal RGB extension. So underneath that panel, it is actually quite light. And it's really more about the board itself than anything else. So here we go. I will zoom you in so that you can have a really good look in, around, and all of that sort of stuff. It's quite a nice looking board, if I'm honest. One thing I will say straight away while we're here, this looks a bit like a two-way mirror, so I think that hero bit and the lines are going to be what lights up. But this is obviously the way it's going to look if you were anti-RGB, and I don't think that looks like a bad board at all. I'd say that the Formula just about has it on aesthetics on this sense, but we'll see what it looks like when it's lit up. Top right hand corner, left hand corner, sorry. You can see we've got an 8-pin and a 4-pin power. When we come across, you can see that we have 3 fan headers. So you've got your CPU optional, the normal CPU fan, and then you've got an AIO pump fan. These are your, I'm pretty sure, the poster lights, so you know which stage of the post the system is on. You've got your Q code reader at the top. Then you've got a normal RGB header. Below that you've got a addressable RGB header. Start, reset buttons, clearly, 24 pin. Then those little brass, copper sections there so that you can connect a multimeter and you can get direct voltage readings from the board. So you don't have to worry about any like software issues or anything like that. You've got an external USB 3.2 Gen 2 header. Chassis fan 2 apparently. So what I'm going to do is I'm just going to go across here under the I/O. So yeah, there we go. That's where chassis fan 1 is. So back here, scroll down. USB 3 external, like old style case USB 3 external header. Then you have 8 SATAs in total. I'll rejig the camera. You got your water cooling section down here. So this is a water pump header. This is a water pump speed header. So you can power a pump from this if you wanted to. If you use external power like a SATA for your pump or anything like that. And then it's got another cable for RPM and all that sort of thing. You can plug that in here. These two sensors here are for an in and an out water temperature sensor. So if you're really into water cooling and you love knowing what's going on within the OS, and obviously you can monitor all of these figures through the OS, you can do that through this. Your front panel header, you've got a high amp fan header here. That will be on 100% natively, just like the water pump header will be as well, just so that you're aware. But this one's for fans that basically draw lots and lots of power. You've got 2 USB 2s, which is lovely to see. You've got the Asus node switch. You've then got another RGB and another RGB addressable header. Retry button, safe mode button. The safe mode button you can actually set profiles for, so that when you're overclocking, if you balls it up and you push it too far, your safe boot button literally will post predefined settings. Now you do have to set those predefined settings, just so that you're aware. LN2 mode here with a little jumper switch that you have to put across between them. Chassis fan 3, then you get into the audio. So you got the Supreme FX. You can actually see it's kind of covered up here, but Japanese capacitors up the top, up there, keep coming up. And what I'll do is I'll spin the board round so that you can see gold plated connections there. For those connections actually light up as well to make them easier to find and connect in the dark. BIOS clear and then BIOS flashback. Wi-Fi 6 I've already spoken to you about with the AX6000 and AX11000 routers, so they support proper Wi-Fi 6. If you want Wi-Fi 6, you're going to need to upgrade your home router if it doesn't already support it. That's where the speed comes from. It's just like having the 2.5 gigabit Ethernet here. If you plug that into a gigabit port on your router at home, it will only work as 1 gigabit. So you do need to realise if you want full speed on either of these, you do need to make sure that you have supporting hardware for it. You can see we've got a load of extra USBs around the back, and to be honest with you, compared to some of the Ryzen boards that I've seen, has a good selection of them there as well. You do get your 2.5 gig Ethernet and another normal 1 gig Ethernet as well, so you could set up separate networks for a NAS or something like that if you wanted. If you don't understand that sort of thing, then maybe we can do some guides on it later on. So there are a lot of power phases around the board. I'm not going to know about exactly how they're wired. I don't think there are doublers, so there may be like 2 sets of chokes and everything wired into one PWM. But we will see. Yeah, we don't really, at this present point in time, I don't want to take them apart. But in the full review that you will see on the OC3D website later, we'll go into how it's all laid out, and if it is doublers, if it isn't, how it's wired, what they are calling each power phase and what's involved. But at the moment you can see that it's pretty much prepared for a lot of juice to be thrown at it. And like I said, we don't know prices yet, but we can kind of assume that it's not going to be the cheapest. Other thing to talk about is it does have a heatsink down here, and this is metal, this one as well, for an M.2. But there are screws up here as well, and there's another M.2 underneath here. And again, I'm not going to pop it all apart. In fact, I don't know whether there's another one underneath there. It's kind of difficult to be able to tell by the PCB round the back, although you can see the naming, and it does have some, you could say pointless print round the back, because probably 99.9% of you are never going to see it. But there you do have our first look at the board. I'm actually going to be chucking a CPU in this right now and starting testing. Don't forget, you can go to the OC3D website to look at other previews for Asus. There are lots of other Asus ones, but other brands as well. And if you keep going to the website, that's actually going to be the fastest way to see the videos if you're not getting videos updated in your feed. You can go to the main channel and hit the bell button though, if you would like to be kept a little bit more up to date, but we are noticing a couple of hours delay at the moment, so keep checking the website. It's probably the cleanest way for you to be able to keep up with what's going on. And I do have other boards to do. There are already videos on the channel as well, but full reviews, or at least the start of our full reviews for the CPUs and X470 versus X570 and all of that sort of thing, are going to be going live from the 7th of July. So lots and lots of stuff for you guys to watch and try and keep up to date with at the moment. But for now at least, this is the tiniest one out.